Okay, DNC 2024. Going to do a bit of a recap. Assault on Everything. What was that? That was that Oscar-winning movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The DNC was an assault on traditional America. Who are they trying to reach out to? Who were they trying to get? There was a myriad of different things that they were trying to do. Again, they had to sell Kamala Harris to the general public at large. And again, finding a way to craft that, and we'll talk about joy a little bit later. But the desire here, it was to get, like I've said for a while, it's to get the dumb vote. To get the dumb vote. To get the quote unquote supposed disenfranchised and bring them over with promises of the government doing everything for you. It's worked before. And, the way it looks right now, it's working again. It's working again. This is the terrain. People, I talk about this all the time when it comes to money. I deal with reality. All right, I can come on here on the program. You may have, whistle past the graveyard and tell you that we have a very intelligent group of electorates, that we have to go out there and reach out to. No, we don't. Meaning, it's much more difficult, much more difficult for conservatives to go out there and basically explain their positions. I talked about freedom not long ago here on the podcast. Spent a great deal of time talking about it and talking about freedom and how freedom is not easy. It's a lot of work, and it's something that's wonderful. It's great, but again, it just doesn't fall into your lap. You have to put the work, time, and effort in to make it work. And Democrats, again, if you listen to the way that they were phrasing, they're basically taken over the word freedom. I don't know. I might have talked about this 3-4 weeks ago here on the program. And quite frankly, I really didn't see it coming to the degree that they played it out in this convention, but they did. They did, actually a couple columns. There was one in the Wall Street Journal, another one written by one of my favorite journalists out there. I actually, I read this guy all the time, but I got to give kudos to my listeners out there that sent me this column as well. Matt Taibbi, the DNC sinister rebrand of freedom, and basically what we've been talking about here on the program. If you can basically take the word freedom, America, freedom. Yeah, no, freedom, you make freedom mean, hey, government's going to take care of you and make sure that you have this taken care of and that, because that's freedom. How is that freedom if you are taking away something from someone else to give? I mean, that's not the system that we have. See, our founding fathers believed that the government doesn't dole out freedom. God gave that to us. And in fact, our Constitution protects us as a check on the government imposing on our freedom. Again, it was a big part of their convention. It was a big part of the convention speakers. I mean, was it Hillary Clinton here? I'm grabbing this from Taibbi's piece. I want to tell you what I see through all those cracks. He was talking about the glass ceiling. Put a lot of cracks in the highest, hardest glass ceiling. I see freedom. I see the freedom to make our own decisions about our health, our lives, our loves, our families, the freedom to work with dignity and prosper, to worship as we choose or not, to speak our minds freely and honestly. I see freedom from fear and intimidation, from violence and injustice, from chaos and corruption. Hillary Clinton, why don't you break down what she's saying? And basically, she's saying that, hey, gee whiz, we need more government to provide for all of these things. When no, government is going to make matters worse, like it does every single time. So yeah, the Democrats are most certainly, they are, and again, the media is playing along with it. New York Times, New Republic, these suspects out there. How Democrats have reclaimed the freedom mantle from Republicans. And believe me, okay, I'm not, I'm self-aware here. Republicans have misused the word freedom often. Remember freedom fries? Remember that? Remember freedom fries? Because the French didn't want to get involved in our misadventures in Iraq. I call them French fries anymore. We're going to call them freedom fries. So stupid. Anyway. Another thing that sad, but it is the reality of our terrain today in this country is we have a culture of death. I've alluded to this. I've talked about this. You're watching parades of people dressed as abortion pills. Yeah, like actually dressed as a pill. They were handing out free abortions and vasectomies at the DNC. I don't, again, that to me is that there's something wrong with this picture. And I've talked about this here on the program. With that being said, I think that, again, the way to help with this problem, because again, people are like, oh, it's abortion rights, a right to abortion. I'm like, do you realize that more abortions, this is after the repeal versus Roe versus Wade, there were more abortions done in 2023 than there have been in over 10 years here in this country, well over 1 million. And so what right was taken away? Again, it's how they go about framing it and putting it out there to the general public. It's kind of stupid. But again, I've said for a while that conservatives would be better served with having a disdain for the practice and looking to maybe solve problems, working with some of the faith-based institutions here in this country to put an end to this in a way, different way than through the legislature. Almost doing it in a way, working with some of these faith-based agencies in regards to adoptions and other options and a myriad of other things. Anyway, as far as it being, kind of a sick bit of a death cult, kind of, yeah, it's kind of sick if you ask me. Kamala and joy to the world. Yeah, Kamala Harris. She again, you got to hand it to the folks over at the DNC. Trump in some of his ill-advised nicknames, because he's got to come up with a nickname. What was he calling Kamala there for a bit there? Laughing Kamala Harris. Laughing Kamala. Again, it was one of the stupid nicknames that he came up with. So what did the Democrats do? They played judo. They did a little bit of martial arts. They did a little judo and used that weight and falling out of the coconut tree and all that nonsense, and basically flipped it and saying she's just a happy person filled with joy. And it freaking worked. It worked. Trump made fun of her laugh. All of the the internet conservative meme makers out there made fun of it. What did Democrats do? He doubled down. They doubled down. And again, it worked for them. One needs to understand, again, they said that the goal here was to basically they are presenting the least known presidential candidate in at least in modern times, as far as I know. I mean, again, you had other candidates come out of nowhere. Jimmy Carter, to some degree. I mean, Bill Clinton, the man from Hope, Arkansas. And of course, Barack Obama. But there was a lot more that was known about them. Again, they've got this thing. No one knows where she stands, what she's just, and again, they're gonna keep running with that. They are going to keep running with that. And throughout the convention as well, it was the usual, attack the wealthy, attack the rich BS. But again, just to show you just how stupid people are that buy into this. They had, Bernie Sanders goes up there and he's railing against all rich people and billionaires. He just goes off on his usual rant. And who is the guy that comes on right after him? Pritzker, governor of Illinois, multi-billionaire, trust fund baby. Yeah, actually bragging that he's got more money than Trump. Right after Bernie Sanders, for crying out loud. And, the reality is, and I was actually blown away by this. I've made fun of Chris Cuomo, most certainly during COVID. I really ripped into his nonsense. He was over there at CNN. I don't know what happened. Okay, he's going over to News Nation, and he's not so much Fredo Corleone anymore. He went on this rant that he was spot on, and he was basically on the floor, and he was pointing to all of the luxury boxes and suites at the convention. And he, went on. He says, the big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging, and they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. Look at the ring of suites. This is not unique to Democrats. This is a game of money. And he said, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at $500,000. He said, you think there's like a teachers group up there? You think it's the Cub Scouts or Columbia County, South Carolina? It's up there in those boxes. Again, he talked about how News Nation didn't get one of those boxes. He said, why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media, but we don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. He said that those same suites up there, and he's right, were filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, we're going to make them pay their fair share. And again, you can actually take a look at some of these sponsorship levels. You pony up $100,000. You get 2 credentials to the guest super suite, as well as a podium preview ticket, premium hotel room, $500,000 contribution, 20 suite credentials, podium preview tickets, 5 premier hotel rooms, $1 million, 20 suite credentials, 10 premium hotel rooms, 1.5. Again, same amount, but you're getting 20 premium hotel rooms, 2.5 million, 28 premium hotel rooms, $5 million gift, 40 premium hotel rooms, and obviously you're in the boxes as well. He's not wrong. Not wrong. Again, they're out there, pitching the Billionaires are evil. Right. Sure. No. It's not about them. And I've explained this before that, again, these parties have owners, again, both Republicans and Democrats. People really need to watch out is the mass affluent here in this country. And this is my clients. It's my clients. I have been fighting against the watchdog on Wall Street axis of evil, big business, politicians, the mainstream media for a long time. They're going after the mass affluent. They're going after entrepreneurs. Did anybody see any at all? You see any small business owners up there giving speeches? People who actually create jobs, generate a lot of middle class and upper middle class and upper class jobs. No. We could, we're going to play, whack the oligarchs out there. Again, maybe some big businesses they'll go after. But no, it's going to be the mass affluent. Alyssa Finley had a good column today in the Wall Street Journal. And again, she echoed many of the things that we've been talking about here. She pointed out the UAW. Sean Fain proclaimed corporate greed is the one true enemy. And Bernie Sanders, party's got to take on big pharma, big oil, big ag, big tech, all the other corporate monopolists whose greed is denying progress for working people. And then you got Pennsylvania governor talking about greedflation and corporations extorting families. Yeah, it sounds great to the ill-informed and the masses out there. Obama going after Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors. I mean, they say this shit with a straight face. Honestly, talk about well-heeled donors. Well, I look to the Democrats for crying out loud. It says for them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please, whether it's fire workers trying to organize a union or put poison in our rivers or avoid paying taxes like everyone else has to do. That avoid paying taxes, that's a good one. Going back to the old Harry Reid and Mitt Romney bit. Okay, I've explained to everybody out here how Democrats like to frame the overall economy, and I did it in terms of pizza years ago. They like to portray the economy as a big pizza. A big pizza. Now, again, pizza can't get any bigger, right? You order pizza, pizza's there. And it's their job to make sure that it's there and divvy up that pizza for the entire country when that's not the reality. You can bake more pizzas. That's what a growing economy will do. Our economy is not stagnant. It can get bigger. It is not a zero-sum game. Again, you can always take a look at right now the distribution. The top 1% of earners pay 45.8% of federal income taxes. So again, you can talk about the 1%, but maybe they can go after them a little bit more. Okay, maybe go after us a little bit. Maybe. Okay, but it's not there. That's not where the money is. Okay, that's where the money is. So they talk about that number, that $400,000 number. That's a lot of small business owners. It's a lot of small business owners that are in that range. A lot of physicians, a lot of doctors that are working, 80, 100 plus hour weeks to make that type of money. That's who they're going after. Barack Obama said, quoting Abraham Lincoln, the better angels, he invoked the better angels of our nature Uh-huh. Alyssa brings up in her column exactly a point that I've made here on the program in the past. And the interesting thing is, she talks about her priest at her church mentioning this. Everybody's seen, well, not everybody's seen. It's a very disturbing movie. It's not a movie you want to, one of those movies that's fantastic, but you don't want to see more than once. The movie Seven. And again, Seven Deadly Sins, Evil Killer, great movie, Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey. Anyway, the movie, the ending of the movie has got a very dark twist to it. And the sin that they're dealing with at the end is envy. When someone succeeds, and again, I like I said, we are very lucky, okay, at my company, because we deal with people and we help them with their success and we watch them succeed in their businesses. It's a beautiful thing. When someone succeeds in business, you are helping the poor. You're creating jobs. When you tear down people that are looking to build and create people who are successful, you are not helping society. We should stop trying to plunder and go after people who are successful. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You want to celebrate people who do well. You want to celebrate success. And the other thing is, too, like I talk about all the time, is you want to help everyone to go out there and succeed. Point them in the right direction. And again, this idea out there, it's greed. These wealthy people, it's all greed. That's how they got there. Government helped them. Remember, you didn't build that. That was Obama and Elizabeth Warren. Democrats, we got to level the playing field. Like they know what the flip they're doing. What, are you going to give them some freaking bulldozer? They're going to grow the middle class out. How does one grow the middle class out? I'm just curious. You want to grow them. One way you can grow the middle class out, I guess, you get more government jobs. You have to have tons and tons of government jobs and government handing out cash. I want people in the middle class to grow their way out based upon advancement in their careers or going out there and starting a second business, whatever it may be. Government gets involved. You have lower wages, less jobs, less growth. And I can go through a litany of statistics here. And you know what? Was thinking about it. Nah, I'm not going to. You've all seen what's happened under Biden and Bidenomics, and you know the difference here. I'm going to kind of finish up today. I see two guys. One is, in my opinion, probably the world's greatest living economist and one of the greatest of all times. And I've highly recommended his book, Basic Economics. It's fantastic to everyone. That's Thomas Sowell. And there was another individual as well. Actually, I haven't listened to his show for a while. One of my listeners sent me. It was Michael Savage. Michael Savage was the anchor on an old radio network that I got my start on, Talk Radio Network. And I guest hosted for him a few times. Very interesting character. And, it was interesting was because they were basically echoing both Thomas Sowell, great Thomas Sowell, and Dr. Michael Savage, echo many of the statements that I have been making over the past several weeks, several months that tick off the MAGA crowd. The MAGA crowd doesn't like dealing with reality. Like I said, they call them, they're basically deadheads. Okay. They're basically deadheads. Deadheads will tell you, without a doubt, Grateful Dead's greatest band of all time. They go follow them around all the show. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear reality. Well, here's Thomas Sowell. Okay. Republicans better get on the ball. If the Republicans lose this year's election against an administration whose policies have been rejected by the public in poll after poll, they will deserve to lose. Yeah, I said that. But do 330 million Americans deserve to see their lives ruined by another 4 years of the Democrats' economic disasters and unchecked violence by both domestic and imported criminals? Does America deserve more tragic military fiascos like Afghanistan or the spy balloon from China? He goes on. Why is this election even close? Yeah. Again, he's making some of the statements that I made. Some Republicans may say that it is because the media are on the side of Democrats and suppress or distort the facts accordingly. Yeah, I get that all the time. But the butt monkeys, the media. I'm like, what do you think this is new? Yeah, you this is not new. Nothing's changed. Others may say the universities have become indoctrination centers promoting the kind of ideologies that favor the Democrats' agenda. Even if we concede all that, which I have, this situation existed back in the days when Ronald Reagan won 2 consecutive presidential elections by landslides. How'd he do it? Well, again, he did it, and this has been my suggestion all along. And again, this is why Republicans haven't been doing as well since Donald Trump got elected in 2016 by addressing the voting public as if they were adults who could understand an issue. If you explain it to them in plain English instead of political jargon or snappy quips. Again, more work involved. More way. You have to go out there and teach. You have to explain things to people. There are some Republicans today who seem to understand that, but they are not running in this year's presidential election. Perhaps they may run in 2028, but there is such a thing as a country declining to the point of no return. 4 more years of disastrous Biden-Harris policies at home and abroad can take us past that fatal point. Many Republicans seem confident that they will win this year's election, but just as a couple of years ago, they were equally confident that they would win control of both houses in the congressional red wave. We told you the red wave wasn't going to happen. We told you right here again, MAGA crowd. You guys see some of the messages that I get from the MAGA types. This weekend, I actually got, they got my voicemail. And some of the, I maybe should save some of these things and play them sometimes at the way that they just the stupidity of it all. Again, it's amazing to me. The public's positive reactions to Vice President Kamala Harris's first statements after becoming the Democrats' nominee seem to be played down by Republicans as if we're a sort of honeymoon response that will automatically evaporate as the truth comes out. Election officials in some states will begin mailing out ballots less than a month from now. The Republicans do not discredit what she claims within that month. The vote she gets then will be fixed, even if Republicans completely demolish her claims later on. On Election Day, even if most voters would prefer Donald Trump, the votes of those who voted early and later regretted it after the facts came out will still be votes for Kamala Harris. The time to refute what Ms. Harris says is when she says it, whatever the issue. Now, she's not saying much, okay, which again should be a piece of cake. Waiting to refute what she says until after millions of early voters have already voted makes no sense, nor is merely denouncing or ridiculing what she said as the same as refuting it. No, you don't ridicule it. And again, we've been saying that on and on and on. Stop with the name calling. Stop with the nonsense. Even Michael Savage, for crying out loud, And I mean, and he's a guy that's got let's just say, a very spicy tongue on the air, without a doubt, has come out and said basically, what are you doing? You know, you're, and again, he's in the same camp that I've been saying his ears, it doesn't look good right now. Now, one thing I also wanted to, because I talked about here on the program, checks and balances, and the fact that, you know, the importance of winning in the House, the importance of, and you have to win. Okay. You have to win. We can't have one of these tie situations like we've had before. Can't have it, because then you get that budget reconciliation crap. Now, Chuck Schumer already wants to get rid of the filibuster. But you have got to have you got to have enough here so you can win in the Senate. That is very, very important. With that being said, no, I am not that I'm again feel a little bit better now that, you know, Robert F. Kennedy is endorsing Donald Trump, and I'll do a podcast that as well. We'll talk a little bit more about this because I've talked about him quite a few times here on the show. Yeah, it makes me feel a little bit better, but the trajectory is it's just not there right now. Again, it could change. It's still August. It's still August. I mean, like I said, things can change without a doubt. But again, that's assuming that you've got to get Trump to change. He's got to change the way he's campaigning. Change the way that he's campaigning, the way he's doing things. Like, again, you compare and contrast. You watch the speech that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made on Friday evening, and compare and contrast it with you know, Trump. You know, stop with the quips. Stop with the stupid names. Okay, be to the point. Understand your facts. Rattle them off. Go out there and teach. Don't go out there and freaking entertain. Okay? It's over, man. Okay? That entire thing jumped the shark back in 2016. May have worked back then. You were coming off Obama, who ended up becoming a hell of a lot more divisive as a president than anyone expected. Okay, it worked then. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Go out there and teach. Okay, differentiate. You don't have to name call. Okay, you don't have to make fun. Don't do it. If you want to win, that's how it's going to be done. But again, the assault on everything, assault on American values. But again, getting back to what I said about the terrain, what are American values at this point in time? What are they? Is it, I've got to get mine? I'm going to look to the government to provide for me. We're going to tear down people who are successful, that have done well. If that's our value set, I'm not signed up for that. That's not who we were. That's not who we should be, quite frankly. Anyway, WatchDog on WallStreet.com. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.